Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another casted game. We're on game number 2 of the round of 64 series between LionHeart and Aussie Routline. LionHeart just about securing a 1-0 victory in the last game, going over a Yucatan Revolt on Darfur and then revolted back into Maya. Game number 2, we're on Hokkaido. LionHeart spawns to the eastern map in the colour blue, playing as the Spanish. His opponent today, Aussie Routeline, playing as the United States of America, spawning to the west of the map in the colour yellow. This is kind of a matchup I was expecting to see, to be honest. USA, their go-to strategy at the moment is the Chinese immigrants. I'm expecting this. It's going to happen, this map. This is the map to do it, and I think Aussie's going here to try and secure Lion's TP side. Is a really smart play, and actually, so it's going to be a real strong opening. Let's look at the deck. It's going to come in pretty quickly soon after. Saloon Sloop. Chinese Immigrants card number 1. No heavy cannons in the 4th age or heavy cannon train time, so I guess he's expecting to stay age 3. You can revolt to the 4th age to get your factories and maybe California Gold card or any other age 4 federal state cards you want to, but getting sloops in this deck as well, that's anticipating. But Spain is going to go water, and knowing LionHeart and knowing how he's been practicing Spain recently, I expect Lion to be sat in his base, tucked up underneath a fort, minding his own business, not giving a damn in the world what on earth USA is doing. And I think we're going to see more soldados this game from Spain than you ever normally see from a Mexico player anyway. That's my guess. The is a main water? He's got 2 battleship card in the 4th age, which you just know he's going to try and send that. Like, you just know he wants to try and send that for the style points. Chinese Immigrants comes in. Chinese trading post rickshaw from the TC. From the shipment point comes the TP. And TP levy ability from the trading post will secure trading posts 2 and 3 there. So good start there for USA. Except for LionHeart has found the US General. Get that snare down, get that killed. Plus 70 XP there for Spain early on. Very nice. And that is going to be a 3 villagers into capitalism card here for Lion. It's a very strong card, capitalism, and in this build order as well, I think it works nicely. Since you have that coin trickle, there might be parts of the game where Lion might be sat more defensive and tucked up and trying to kind of find time for his villagers to work. And that's when capitalism really pays off. It will continuously gather. There is no idle time with capitalism, and considering that once these 2 in-base mines run out, pushing out for further mines might be beyond Lion's ability. So kind of securing those trickle resources while you can is a nice idea. Wood being picked up here by the Spanish explorer. 70 wood. Would Lion consider taking on a Zen temple for some Soheis? Native pikeman could be useful to take down a trading post. Also comes in with a very strong XP upgrade. It's the same return of investment, but a what am I trying to say? Mercantilism gives you 2,000 XP for 1,500 coin. This, for 700 resources, gives you 1,000 XP. So, in terms of benefits, it's so good. It's a really good tech to have. There's also unit upgrades here, which, to be honest, you won't really ever click. It's too expensive. It only really pays off in the 4th age, or maybe if you're upgrading 2 guard units at all. Age up does come in. It's likely going to be the governor. Yeah, outpost. Will the outpost go forward or will go defensive? My guess is it's going to be slightly in front of the TC, but on this side of the map. Hey, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he's actually is going slightly forward of this. We'll have to find out. Although he doesn't have any Cav combat cards or Rodolero cards, he still has 9 rods, 5 lancer, 4 lancer, 2 falc. Gets 1,000 wood. I think H2. Where's he go? He's just scouting. Lion is just scouting with the outpost wagon. He wants to know what's going on. He sees the market. He sees the wood being chopped behind. quite often that is a signal for chopping for buildings like saloons in base, houses in base, maybe prepping up the Highlander shipments that Routeline's looking to go for. Going for the 3 Arkansas posts, that is a, well, I jokingly said this is the Hazard build, but somebody commented saying, I think it was like the Chinese guy, Captain Link, saying he's been doing this for years. But anyway, 3 post wagons come out, so it's going to be a saloon, be a second saloon, and it still could be a trading post if he wants, but he might go for a 3rd saloon. Ford Saloon? Ford Market. There we go. That's what it's going to be. Ford Market in the middle of the map. But, yeah, Ford Saloon. Why don't we just have all the saloons forward? To be fair, he's only going to have enough resources to produce out of 1. But what Routline's going to try and do is, with 3 saloons, with 1 church, and with 3 trading posts, 6, 7. It's only 7. Why are we missing a couple? We haven't built a church. Okay, a trading post has just been picked up, and we still need to build a church for trading post number 9. Oh, surely we could have just done a remote build on a Zen temple as well to get basically all 10 Highlanders. I think it's very critical to get these Highlanders. They're so strong. And Spain don't have a really good way to deal with Highlanders. They have a slow age to the 3rd age, and only then can they train skirmishers. They can't send in skirmishers. I think we're just going to call it a bit of a... Oh, he's aged up with Delaware. Yeah, okay, so there is no Pennsylvania Convention. So, essentially, all these cards of the 3 Arkansas posts and the Scottish immigrants have been shifted forward 1. But he has squeezed in capitalism in pivot, so gone for capitalism instead of Philadelphia Convention. It's a strange one, because unless you, maybe, yeah, unless you don't send in Philadelphia Convention, I think capitalism and Philadelphia Convention basically do the same thing, but the Philadelphia one is just much better. You get the church wagon, a 2.5 coin trickle, and some other bonus, while capitalism is quite flat in comparison. Out come the Highlanders, 8 Highlanders across the map. A couple cowboys out in the field already. 3 went in for initial raid. Come back. Line is aged up to the next stage. Gonna send a fort. Card 1, realise the Highlanders are coming, and is now going to call in Falconets, but actually, he hasn't really got enough stuff to deal with this, and like I said, like, this is what I worry about, is the Highlanders and Cowboys just ran in. Where's that outpost wagon gone from? It's on the why is it down there? Oh, I knew he should have gone home with the outpost and played defensive, because, you know, the Highlander the play is kind of the go-to measure at the moment. You know you're going to have to deal with these, and it's no good way for Lion to do this. He has to build up a house. He's got to counter-train Musks and decline the skirms for some reason. Although skirms would be very good versus the Cowboys and the Highlanders. That's just classic not train. Minutemen come out. Falcons unpacking. They're going to get some shots on. The Highlanders run away. Shipment available here for Lion. This is when he's going to call the fort in. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it now under the cover of the Falconets. And he's going to call it in. Musks on the way. Villagers idle and TC. TC not being used as well. I wonder if that's going to be another recurring theme here for Lion's gameplay of refusing to hit that Vil button. I'm trying to bait you out. I think he's done with the Vils. I think he's done. I don't think he needs. Oh, he's got one. So the much faster build with the Delaware to get the Highlanders out by skipping Philadelphia Convention, having all those cards essentially pseudo like 1 card shifted forward. I just realised that Routeline's gone for 700 coin, 600 coin back to back just to spam Outlaws, and I think he will. Fort is coming up with Falconets behind it. The Highlanders will not want to siege us down. This fort is such a good position. It's tied up with the town centre. It's really hard to get behind onto the Falconets. And the Falconets kind of covered behind the foundation. Oh, that's a good shot, good play. That fort's going to come up. I think once the fort's up, this is kind of feels a much safer here for Lion. Musk's unfortunately not really on top of the Quattros. Okay, Hacienda wagons out. They need to get down. This is crucial. If they get picked off, we're in big trouble. He needs to get them down somewhere. Anyway. Oh gosh, this is tight. This is tight. It comes down. Both of them survive. And, woo. And luckily they build fast, because otherwise Lion will be hitting that GG button if the Haciendas went down. The whole strategy revolves on Hacienda production. Unfortunately, though, you'd ideally wanted the Haciendas defensively and the fort covering a bit exposed. Fort is happily taking shots onto the Alhoots. Villagers still gathering. No great coats. Couple might go down. Get into the Hacienda garrison. More cowboys coming behind. I think Lion's just done enough to defend this push from USA. Delaware Blues coming in behind. 9 regular shipment. Very strong in the second stage. Incredible shipment. But doesn't feel like he's going to get a good value with that. So he decides to not send it. BGA will be sent behind. And I guess obviously looking for the age up pivot. He's still got 4 people chopping wood. These guys need to be on to the hunt. Stagecoach never researched from this trading post line. That feels a shame. That would have been very nice if that was done earlier on. Fort's in range of another Highlander, and that's gone flying. That's a shame to lose the Highlander that way, actually. TC getting some good shots. And I think the Haciendas, the Soldado spam will now start to happen. Lion is desperate to get to the 4th age, though. The whole play is to kind of survive on the 4th age. Still actually sending the unit shipments to cover in transition. This is where a Spanish gold shipment would be so useful for Spain. Because you do have good protection with the fort and the Soldado spam, but with low eco, actually, as the cards come in, and your factory's stone heavy cannon production, that actually coin income, very useful. Forward Saloon does go down there for Aussie. He does pick up the 4th trading post here from Lion. We'll take that trade. I think he realises that he hasn't got enough units to deal with Spain's base, so we'll back off. Aussie likely to be aging behind this. Yep, he's on his way up now. Needs to research statehood if he wants to get it faster. He could also be jumping straight to the 4th age. But with this many vills chopping wood, is he looking to go for fast age up to the 2nd age and spam some TCs? Stable comes down. Yeah, I guess Carbine Cavalry, but like, commit one way or the other. You're either gonna go for outlaws or you're not. And unfortunately, none of these outlaws really help you versus, well, none of these mercenaries really help you into Soldado spam, unfortunately. The mounted riflemen are very strange. They are counter skirm dragoons, but kind of pointless versus anything else. They don't quite work at all. Hey, age ups in. There's the XP coming behind. Gatling gun's going to be sent. Meanwhile, let's just sit back in base and let's just tuck up for the late game here. 4th age has been secure, and the real question is, which revolt is LionHeart going to go for today? And I think the answer to that is the Mexico revolt works in the sense you can get your guard Soldado upgrade for free. I would like to see Lion kind of upgrading his Soldados at this point and making good use of them as soon as he has the resources available. I think he's realised that as the game goes on, he will get so many Soldados that it's actually worth to upgrade them as fast as possible. This strategy used to be absolutely broken because Soldados shadow teched. So as soon as you get to the 4th age, bam, you've got a very strong uber army of strong musks. Yeah, more housings coming in, and this is where the vills will get onto the haciendas to try and drive this production upwards. Factory does come in behind. There we go, look at that. First Mexican musketeer on the field. Fort has done its job. USA now pushing in with a mixed army of US infantry, cowboys and carbine cavalry. 3 Gatling guns come from behind. Unfortunately though, I think the Gatlings and the fort have the same range, so it's really hard for them to do much damage on the fort, but he can always put pressure on his forward hacienda. Those Gatling guns need to come in much faster. 2 Falcons still standing up from the other shipment from Lion is actually useful. Oh no, these are the engineer age up ones. I think. Yeah. Yes, of course. Soldado produced every 15 seconds and adds so much value. Yeah. Whether this is a good strat or not is, I think it's counterable. I think the phrase is it's a countable strat. Because there's stuff like, not much micro, macro going on, it's quite a low skill ceiling strategy. I mean, obviously it takes a high skill to kind of play and strategize around it and control your units, but fundamentally, get to the 3rd age, drop a fort, defend, send haciendas, produce soldados, and profit is about as far as we're going in terms of complexity with the strats. The small difference here was Lions up to the 4th age first, to then send in powerful things like the factories, like the 2 heavy cannon, 4 Colv, and it might be tempting for him to upgrade his coin income from the factory, get a church, research mercantilism to get more factories, more artillery, and all that stuff behind. I can see that he's actually got enough coin for guard upgrade. I think he might transition over to wood because he needs a lot of housing. Does need a lot of housing, and he really shouldn't be buying at the market for this. This should be just factory-driven production. The real big concern here for Lion is that just like last game with the just like the last game with the Hacienda production, there's no XP being generated from these soldados being produced. So if anybody says this strat is overpowered, I think the lack of 17 XP per daddy coming out is quite useful, because 17 down by 13 is I suppose only 200 XP. It's not a critical amount of XP, but you just have that shipments in a little bit faster, a little bit more momentum, a little bit more way to kind of work around what you want to try and do. Yeah, I agree, Vivid. I thought actually the defensive play there from Lion was actually really nice. I like the position of the Falconet behind the fort, but in come a huge amount of Gatling guns. I was just sensing the thing he kind of wants. Kentucky Hunter's on the field as well. He's got a forward artillery foundry at the top, and 7 Gatling guns are going to have a massive, going to put a big pressure on. You see how Lion is trying to focus down the Gatling guns at all cost. XP now in here for Lion. He's probably going to call himself in 2 heavy cannon. 4 Colvs is to play. Well, I guess once the Gatling guns go down, there's nothing to kill the Soldados. Look at him! How has he won this fight? How has Aussie not won with 7 Gatling guns into mass infantry? I felt that looked disastrous, but the Soldados just stood there and delivered. And it was the Rodleros, the dogs, the Lancers, the trash units were getting killed. And behind this, the Soldados are still continuing to get made. 4 Colvs out now, defend versus any more artillery. 2 Falcons are still alive. They weren't focused down at all. And 1 factory is in. 2nd factory coming. He's now going to transition on to mass production. Maybe once he does get enough resources, if he does want to try and upgrade this to the 4th age, he's just going to be spamming heavy cannons now. And that golden opportunity there from Routeline just didn't quite work. Just what if we had a batch of 5 petards, 3 on 1 hacienda, 2 on the other, goodbye haciendas. Lion would have to push. He'd have to fully transition his economy back to regular units, which he just probably couldn't do. Maybe a panic revolt to Mexico would actually work from his point of view to upgrade this to guard. Gatlin's trying to siege the market. Really the target he wants, but now with Culverins on the floor, push rate and the artillery pressure, there's nothing Routline can realistically do. And yeah, Colv's thankfully one shot a Gatling gun. Does make it really awkward here for Routline how he wants to try and play this. Is that the Delaware shipment? Yeah, 14 regulars have just come in from the or say 13. Now it's a 14 shipment from the shipment. He's already gone through Kentucky Hunters. Kentucky Caulfield still available. That is a great card if you're making artillery, which he is. You know, having 2 coal mines where you can gather about 2 coin per second. Maybe here be 2.2 coin per second. Oh no, it'd be just double X, 1.4 coin per second. So strong, such a fast gathering resource. That is, you could say, is worth like a 5 Gatling gun shipment. Pulaski's Legion, unfortunately, not adding too much here. We do have Musk Combat, that could be quite useful. Russian American company for hunting. There's still a decent amount of hunts on the top, and you can see how Lion's strategy is. Again, his line of sight was that forward outpost, getting to here, calling it a day, and the explorers getting to here, and here calling it a day. No military units from Lion has crossed the train post line and crossed this line. It's just the tuck up in base and just wait around for the 30-minute. But scores are not too far apart. But I feel that the potential that Lion can get to is so much higher. Look at the resources. I would say that he's he could have the resources for the upgrade, but one way to upgrade them is itself going for the Revolt, specifically to Mexico here. He might be tempted for a Gran Colombia because of the water, 2 ironclads, but I don't think he's got enough reach. Oh god, he has great reach from the water onto the base, so Colombia could come in actually. I think he's gonna do it. Cole's microing forward, and at this point, Routline thinks he's starting to kind of win the pressure, but in come the Soldados, and that's going to blast away all these musketeers. A veteran regular just does not compete with a veteran Soldado, and the Cole was moving. It was a noble attempt at the Cole fight, but Aussie just did not have enough Coles there. I think he brought 2 to the party. The Lions defending with 4. Gatling guns to take down 1 Hacienda. That is really awkward here for Lion. It's not great, but I have a feeling that there's a Revolt which can give you more Haciendas to recover this position, which we might see very, very soon. Full villagers on the Hacienda. Soldado produced every 13 seconds. We're getting close to the Revolt, and the resources are in, and we're now going to be revolting. What's the rock going to be? Gran Colombia or Mexico? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's going to be Mexico! Oh, I mean, it makes sense. He's got 34 Soldados who wants to upgrade to Guard without paying for it because he's a tight ass. But then all these become now anti-skirm cavalry. Dum da 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 dum 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 da 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 dum dum. He has now revolted and going to chase down and just walk right into obviously his base. He does have a fort to defend. He might not actually need the things anymore, but look at the... Oh, just these are disgusting. Guard Soldado, 54 ranged attack, and somebody has not got their greatcoats, and they're getting 3-shot killed. That's brutal. He's trying to chase us down. I don't think he engaged his army this early. 2 shipments available. And Lion is waiting for the army of the 3 guarantees. Well, I mean, if you're floating 2 shipments, you might as well wait for your 3rd. And then call in this card, 2 heavy cannons, 15 Guard Soldados, 10 H2 Chinacos. It is an underwhelming card, but I mean, if you've already got 2 cards in the bank, you might as well wait for it. I just find it funny. This is a tournament game, and Lion's actually done. He's done this strat in a tournament game. It's quite, it's brutal. I casted this for this same strat Lion did versus Psionic, and I thought that was brutal enough. But this is kind of, I suppose it's a little less brutal, but equally more because. I just have a feeling this is a fight that Lion's not in the right position. Oh, he's just going to march in with the Tiradas on top of the Gatling guns. They're walking. They're walking. They're not attacking, and they've gone down. The Colts are still firing, but with no other Falconets to kind of protect. There's no real damage dealing here from Aussie. It's all getting clapped big time. All this XP is funding Spain's ability now to send in the army of the 3 guarantees. And look at these Serranos. They counter skirmishers. These are heavy arranged cavalry. They're not dragoon classed. Think of them as arquebusiers. It's the closest I can think of. Oh, out comes the pokey stick, and they did even more. Look at that, 7 attack with a 2.5 multi. That's pretty decent actually. as pretty decent. And the other skirms are going to go down. The army of the 3 guarantees it's on its way. We have that forward outpost. Could it now come in clutch with the forward shipment point? I think he's realised that he's basically cleaned up this army. And 2 more heavy cannons will pop out from the home factories as well. This is going to be a really nice timing of 4 heavy cannons, 15 soldados, 10 cav, while the main army is to the north of the map cleaning up. If anybody's familiar with UK TV in the 90s or 2000s, you know the TV show called You've Been Framed? That's what I feel like Aussie is at the moment. Like, Lion's just going to send this in going, ha, this happened. Oh, go in, go in, go in, go in. Send these in, go in, do something. Free shipment card. I mean, there's nothing else for Lion to do at this point, but... I mean, if I'm being very peculiar, I'd say that actually what would be better play was stay in H4 a little bit later, get advanced Arsenal, get the Arsenal techs for speed, attack, HP, all that good stuff. You have the melee bonuses, I don't think we really need it with regards to Soldados. And then once we're in this age, I guess 10 Soldados, 10 cows, maybe? There's nothing else you really want, though. That's the problem. Maybe Chipotle tactics, which is siege and shit, but it's a bit of a quirky revolt. But Lion has made it work in the tournament gameplay settings and takes up game number 2 with the Spain to Mexico revolt. You can see it from mile away, and I thought Routeline did a really good job of that early pressure of taking down these haciendas, but a few fights which could have gone better was the difference between the 2 players this game. I think LionHeart showing the vulnerability of the strategy if those haciendas aren't properly defended, and once those haciendas go down, kind of really puts a big bummer on the strategy. There's no real way to get them back unless you do revolt in Mexico later on. And you can just look at the you just carry on the train the vills. It's quite nice to see. If you look at the military population, all this has been trickled with 2 pop musketeers, and each time Aussie looks for a push, it just doesn't quite work for him. And this one's brutal because all these going down with the Rodelleros, the dogs, the lancers, maybe a couple of musks left over, but the soldados were still standing with 2 falk behind. So 15 soldados survived, 2 falk. And that push was the moment there for Routeline. That was backed by a 14 regular shipment as well from Delaware to kind of remass, and yeah, it didn't work afterwards. Crazy game. Lion once again playing outside the box. But how far will that playstyle get in this tournament? We'll have to find out. This is the Ro64, and make sure you check out Esoc Twitch, Esoc community website as well for news of upcoming rounds and further show matches. I'll see you guys in the next game.